Pudim, one of the most loved desserts in Brazil. It's creamy, it's shiny, and it's very comforting. Every family has a different recipe, but I'm gonna share the one that I learned from my dad, which is very simple, and he makes the absolute best pudim in the world. And others can say that I make the best pudim in the world. We're gonna start from the thing that needs to be done first, which is the caramel. 2 cups of sugar. Make sure you run this sugar through a strainer to avoid those rocks and lumps in our caramel, and make sure the sugar melts entirely. We start on high temperature, but as soon as it starts caramelized, I like to change for medium, and I feel like it works fine. Just make sure that you're looking at all times. Sugar takes a little bit to start melting, but once it starts, it's very quick. Once it starts melting all together, add 1/4 of a cup of water, or 2 fingers, which is how I measure in Brazil. 2 fingers of water. Add the water. Be careful at this part because the sugar is very hot and the water is probably cold. Try to not use very cold water. Once you put the water, it's gonna start to be a little harder, but just keep stirring as you were doing before, and it's gonna become a thinner sauce. If you like it thinner, just add more water. If you like more caramelly, like almost candy-like, you just add less or cook for longer. I say in terms of caramel in general, but for this recipe, we're looking for something not too thin, but not really thick. Be careful and don't burn yourself. The second part of the recipe is very straightforward. We just blend everything together. I like to start blending the eggs first. I don't know if there's a scientific reason for it. I just like to do it because it avoids the eggy taste that some pudins tends to have. Also, a small tip I like to do is that I always crack my eggs on a separate bowl first, just in case one of them is spoiled. I wouldn't have to throw away my whole recipe because of it. So once my eggs are blended and they are in a lighter yellow color, I add 2 cans of condensed milk, and then I use the same cans of condensed milk to measure the milk. So 2 cans of condensed milk and 2 cans of regular milk. Sometimes I eyeball a little bit more milk just because it makes me feel better, honestly. You can totally stick to the exact amount of measurement or be a little loose with it. It is fine, it's not that big deal. Blend everything into a smooth liquid. After blending, I like to let the mixture sit for a minute or 2 and then I strain it. This is optional, but the strainer helps remove the bubbles. Some people like the bubbles inside their pudding for some reason. I don't. I'm team creamy pudding, so straining helps a lot with the texture. I also cover the pan with aluminum foil to avoid those bubbles forming on top. I actually got used to cooking my pudding on the stove top because when I moved to the United States, I didn't have enough pots to do the oven method. But traditionally though, Brazil pudding is baked in the oven. You fill a larger pan with hot water, and then you put the pudding pan inside on the center, you cover, and you bake for 350 for around 40 minutes. On the stove top is the same concept. You make sure the pudding fits straight into the bigger pot, keep the heat medium to medium high, and check the water level constantly. The stovetop usually cooks faster, which is around 30 minutes is already good to start checking in. But remember, every oven has its own personality. Some cooks faster, some slower, and that's why some people say they only know how to cook in their own kitchen. You just get used to your equipment and become second nature. To check if your pudding is done, just insert a fork or knife. If it comes out clean, it's ready. If not, cook for a little longer. Let it cool down completely at room temperature first, and then refrigerate for at least 4 hours, but ideally overnight. If you're still in this video and thinking the whole time, why does it look like a flan and not like a pudding? Well, originally, in the medieval times, pudding wasn't even sweet. It was made with meat, oats, sometimes even blood, and it was cooked inside animal intestines. Over time, thankfully, Europeans started using the same cooking method for sweeter recipes, and each country created its own version of pudding. The pudding that inspired the Brazilian one was the one from Portugal. I don't know if you know, but Portugal colonized Brazil. That's the reason why we are the only country who speaks Portuguese instead of Spanish in South America, just in case you didn't know. The recipe was made out of sugar, eggs, and milk, but when it arrived in Brazil, we adapted by adding condensed milk, which is what it gives that creamy texture we love so much. Brazilian pudim and a Mexican flan looks like cousins, but one is clearly better than the other. I'm sorry, Mexico. If you stayed until the end, it was a pleasure to share this family recipe with you. If you tried, please let me know below. I would love to see it. I see you in the next video. Bye!